Popular blogger Musyani was arrested yesterday right outside the magistrate's court, and this was soon after he was found with a case to answer in a much publicized case. And now social media has been rife with, should there have been a search warrant? They arrested him and the police officers were not wearing proper uniforms. So I thought, you know what, now that we are returning to law videos, let's start there with Musyani giving us a topic. So we're going to look at arrest, and we're also going to look at what it means to be found with a case to answer, and we're going to do this by moving from studying the court process. Not study, I'll share with you how the court process moves from the time that one appears before a magistrate or a court until judgment, and then we'll go a little bit on when you are found with a case to answer. So this is part one. We're going to look at arrests, and then in part two we will look at case to answer stage. Okay, let's get into it. In Zambia, the law that governs arrests is the Criminal Procedure Code, Chapter 88 of the Laws of Zambia, aka Cap 88 if you want to sound legal, of the laws of Zambia. You can find these in part 3 of the act, and it starts at section 18. That's where you find them. So what is an arrest? So basically it is usually a law enforcement officer taking someone into custody on suspicion of a crime, or for this person to be taken in for investigations, or even for legal proceedings or just questioning. That is an arrest. And I said usually a police officer, because it is envisaged in our country that an arrest can even be made by a private person, which can be found in our Criminal Procedure Code. It's found in the law. But also we have seen this happen before. A typical example is in City Market, where they find someone stealing, they catch a thief, and they take that person to the police. That can be said to be a citizen's arrest. Okay, except for the part where they beat him, that mob justice. But the part where they apprehend the person and take them to the police, that is a citizen's arrest, to give you like a definition of what that would look like. A magistrate can also order an arrest. Okay, so the magistrate can order an arrest, and if you look through the act, you will find a plethora of reasons why, you know, they can order this. Maybe you're creating a breach of peace. We've seen incidences where the magistrate issues a bench warrant because someone is not coming to court, and that person is arrested so that they are secured for legal proceedings, like I said earlier, for the next time the court is sitting. But because of interest to us is what happened in the Musyani case, let me just go ahead without giving you a whole law lecture about what arrest is and what it isn't, right? So does it matter that the police officers were wearing uniform? Absolutely not. It has no bearing on it. So an arrest, even in section 18 itself that I had referred to earlier, will require that a person is, you know, they touch the person's body if the person is showing some resistance. Now I haven't yet seen the video. I've just seen a lot of blog posts, but if there was some form of resistance, it is required of the persons, whether it's police officers or private citizens arresting the person, to actually touch the body of the person in order to secure the arrest. Now let's talk about warrants. I heard someone saying, he said that there was no search warrant when arresting a human being. There are two ways that an arrest can happen, whether there is a warrant or not. The arrest can happen because the officers may have been given a directive by an officer in charge to conduct that arrest without a warrant, even though there is, I'm supposing, the preferred option. Preferred, and I say that loosely, in that the law provides for an arrest with a warrant first, and then goes in to explain what arrest without without a warrant is and when that can be done. So for instance, when it can be done, an arrest without a warrant, like I have explained, the officer in charge writes to one of his subordinates to go and arrest someone and when they write to that subordinate, they explain to that subordinate what offense that person has committed, and then they go and arrest that person. There's also situations when an offense is happening in the presence of an officer. I think a typical example would be, I think, like traffic offenses. You run a red light and then you kind of get arrested because maybe you're causing death by you're driving carelessly, right? You have reckless driving. I think that's the offense. So yes, it doesn't matter that in my opinion, and also I'd like to say, please take this with go and study. This is not legal advice. I am explaining to you arrest from my perspective. I'm not representing any institution. I'm just explaining from more like social commentary, okay, on a situation that we are experiencing currently. So that's about arrests. The one thing I would like to say though is, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are arrested, the wise thing to do is to keep your words minimal. Keep your words minimal. Don't say too much. Be compliant with the officers. Go to the station with them. Hear what they are going to say. If there's a charge, those are the things you want to know. If there's a charge against you, what is it? And if they're asking you questions, just be compliant and hear them out, because it is unlikely that the police will come and apprehend you and there is no cause. So you want to establish what that cause is first, and do not hesitate to seek legal counsel, even at a stage as early as arrest, because counsel just means advice. They will advise you what to do, when and how in situations like that. I hope this has been helpful. I tried to avoid diving into the technicalities of what the law says, and just to help you understand that, one, an arrest can be done by a citizen, it can also be done by a police officer, and it can also be ordered by a magistrate. Two, an arrest can happen with or without a warrant. Three, be compliant. Don't hassle police when they arrest you, not because they're going to do anything to you, but because by law they are required to, to use, to touch you, to collect you, to go with them if you're not being compliant. So in situations like that, keep your words minimal. Don't say things that are going to implicate you. Try to stay calm, be compliant, go with them to the police, and always seek legal counsel. Don't be the person who has had like a patient who has had a lot of symptoms, and now when it's too late and you need to be operated on is when you go to the doctor. Seek counsel. Go and ask, okay, this has happened to me, or have your family reach out to someone who has knowledge of the law, preferably someone qualified, so that they would advise your family or you what is happening and what the next steps are. So in 24 hours you should be taken to court, but even if you're not taken to court in 24 hours, if it's not practicable, the law says that you have to wait a little bit, but your rights are that you should be taken before a court and not kept inordinately. So that's part one. I'm not diving too much into the details of it, but this is what you can expect during an arrest in layman terms, and I hope that was helpful.